The story begins with a merchant who is the father of 3 daughters. His 2 older daughters are described as being handsome, but the youngest, named Beauty, is the most beautiful of all. Her eyes are as blue as the sky, her hair black as ebony, and her cheeks as rosy as blossoms. The merchant loves all his daughters, but Beauty holds a special place in his heart. This introduction immediately sets a contrast between the siblings and highlights Beauty's exceptional charm, foreshadowing her central role in the tale. For a time, the merchant's life is prosperous and comfortable. However, his fortune is precarious, as it largely depends on ships and trade. Disaster strikes when his ships are lost at sea one after another, wiping out most of his wealth. The family's comfortable life is shattered, and the merchant is left poor, forced to face an uncertain future. One day, knowing he must embark on a long journey to salvage whatever he can, the merchant calls his daughters to him and asks what gifts they would like him to bring back. The 2 older daughters immediately begin to ask for expensive things, luxurious clothes, fine jewelry, and the like, each eager to outshine the other. This request reveals their vanity and materialism. When it is Beauty's turn to speak, she surprises them all by asking only for a rose, saying that she has all she needs and desires nothing more. Her request contrasts with the selfishness of her sisters and shows her simplicity and grace. The older sisters are jealous and angry, suspecting that Beauty's humble request is a subtle attempt to shame them. The merchant is touched by Beauty's modesty and kisses her affectionately 3 times, while only giving a single kiss to the other 2. With a heavy heart, he sets off on his journey. After many days of travel, the merchant arrives in the city where he hoped to restore his fortune. Unfortunately, his situation is worse than he expected, and he is now truly poor. Despite this, he manages to buy the extravagant gifts his older daughters requested, though with sadness and hesitation. On his way home, a violent storm forces him off the road and deep into a dark forest. Lost and weary, he eventually comes upon a magnificent and mysterious castle. The castle is unlike anything he has seen, grand and empty. He knocks, and the great door opens as if by magic. Inside, the merchant finds no one, but the castle is filled with luxury, beautiful rooms, sumptuous food, and even invisible servants who attend to him. He is both astonished and comforted by this strange hospitality. That night, he sleeps peacefully in a prepared bed, and when he wakes, he finds rich clothes and a bag of gold waiting for him. The next day, he explores the castle's garden, discovering winding paths, fountains, and a rose bush covered in beautiful blooms. Remembering Beauty's wish, he picks the largest rose for her. No sooner has the merchant plucked the rose than a terrifying beast appears. The beast accuses him of theft, as the rose bush is precious to him. The merchant pleads for mercy, explaining he meant no harm and only wanted to bring joy to his beloved daughter. The beast is furious and demands a terrible price. The merchant must give one of his daughters to live with him as his wife. The merchant is horrified, but realizes he must agree to survive. The beast gives him 3 months to decide and promises that if he fails to return with a daughter, he will kill the merchant. The beast then disappears, and the merchant hastens home, his heart heavy with dread. When the merchant returns, the older daughters are delighted with their gifts and oblivious to their father's distress. Only Beauty notices his sadness and gently presses him to reveal the truth. He tells them everything about the castle, the beast, and the dreadful bargain. The older sisters react with horror and refuse to consider marrying the beast, no matter the cost. Beauty, however, steps forward and declares her willingness to sacrifice herself to save her father. She insists she will become the beast's bride. Though the merchant is reluctant to give up his favorite daughter, the older sister's refusal leaves him no choice. When the appointed time arrives, the merchant takes Beauty with him to the castle. Upon arrival, Beauty is amazed by the castle's magnificence. Everything is beautiful and enchanted. She sees the sumptuous feast laid out for them and is struck by the mysterious, gentle music that fills the halls. Then the Beast appears, and though his appearance is terrifying, more dreadful than her father's description, he speaks softly and assures her she will not be harmed. He tells her she need not marry him unless she truly wishes to. Beauty is honest. She does not want to marry the Beast, but fears for her father's safety. The Beast comforts her and promises not to harm her family. He tells her she may stay in the castle and suggests that perhaps over time she may grow to love him. Beauty settles into life at the castle. Each day she explores the vast gardens and shares moments with the Beast, who slowly reveals a kind and gentle nature beneath his fearsome exterior. Despite her repeated refusals to marry him, the Beast remains hopeful, often asking, "Beauty, will you marry me?" Her answer is always no, and he leaves with a heavy sigh. Though uneasy, Beauty is increasingly drawn to the Beast's kindness and begins to see him as more than just a frightening creature. One day, Beauty discovers a magical mirror that shows her scenes from home. Through it, she watches her father and sisters, seeing their smiles and daily lives. She finds comfort in this window to her old world. However, when she sees her father lying ill in bed, pale and weak, she is overcome with worry. She calls to the Beast, begging to be allowed to visit her father. The Beast agrees, but on one condition: Beauty must return within a week, or great misfortune will befall him. He gives her a magical ring with a large ruby. To travel home, she must turn the ruby toward the palm of her hand and wish herself there. The same action will return her to the castle. That night, Beauty uses the ring and awakens in her father's bed. Her arrival brings great joy and improves her father's health. Her sisters, envious of Beauty's fine life at the castle, grow spiteful. They devise a plan to keep her from returning by secretly slipping a sleeping powder into her drink. Beauty falls into a deep sleep, lasting 2 days and nights, unaware she is breaking her promise to the Beast. While asleep, Beauty dreams she walks in the castle gardens and finds the Beast nearly dead beside the rose bush. He laments her broken promise and the suffering it has caused him. When she awakens, she is filled with guilt and fear. She knows she must return immediately. Using the ring, she wishes herself back to the castle and falls asleep once more. Upon awakening, Beauty rushes to the rose bush and finds the Beast lying lifeless. She cradles him, tears falling upon his face, confessing her love and regret. The Beast opens his eyes and asks if she loves him enough to marry him. Overcome with emotion, Beauty agrees, declaring her love and willingness to be his bride. At her words, the Beast's fearsome form dissolves, revealing a handsome young prince dressed in white satin and silver. The prince explains that a wicked fairy had cursed him for his arrogance, transforming him into a beast. Only the love of a fair maiden willing to marry him despite his hideous form could break the spell. Beauty's love and kindness have freed him. The curse's magic had also made his people invisible, but now they return to life and joy, filling the castle with sound and movement once more. Beauty's father and sisters are summoned to the castle for a grand wedding feast. The merchant is honored, but the sisters' cruelty and hardness of heart have condemned them. They are transformed into statues standing by the doorway, a punishment for their envy and malice. Yet Beauty's compassion remains strong. She often visits the statues, weeping for them. Her tears soften their hearts, and eventually, the stone melts away, restoring them to flesh. The sisters marry noblemen, and harmony is restored. Beauty and the prince marry, their love deep and enduring. They live happily ever after, free from curses and hardship, a symbol of how love, kindness, and inner beauty can triumph over appearance and misfortune.